And finally I have a finished object. A small one, a quick one, but a finished object nonetheless. So hello everyone. Welcome or welcome back to my very small YouTube channel about all of my knitting adventures. And it's going to be an episode about my knitting adventures today, what I have finished, what is on my plate, and maybe a couple of my projects if I have enough time, and a bit of my life updates because I've been visiting my family. It was during the storms. 2 storms went through France in the last couple 4-5 days, and I guess I have beautiful pictures to show you. So if my mistakes, my accents, and my hesitations do not bother you too much, please stay tuned. So first, what am I wearing today? It's a bit chilly, so I've been using my heavier and warmer sweaters. This is my Scandinavian type sweater that I knit sometime in 2021, at the beginning of 2021, with Dererum Natura, Cyrano, I'm not sure. The main color is poivre et sel, which is pepper and salt, and it's, as one of you mentioned on an Instagram post, it's the perfect neutral beige color, as you can see. The detail, the darker one for the color, the detail, the cuffs, is fusain. And the white part here is leftovers from a camel yarn that I knit a sweater with, and this sweater turned into a rug. I'm wearing it at home. I'm wearing it in my bed when I'm cold, but it sheds and make little lints and all everywhere, all the time, just by looking at it. And as it's a light color, these little balls, when it felt and stuff like that, are darker than the sweater, and it looks dirty all the time. So I never wear it any longer other than in the house. So this one is some camel yarn. And I'm wearing it with my little sherbet bandana. I think that's the name of the pattern. The little sherbet. So I haven't said... the Scandinavian type or style sweater is a free pattern on Ravelry by Catherine Johnson. And the little sherbet bandana is also a free pattern by Lamb & Kid. And I hiked the pattern because I think the original pattern is designed for bulkier yarn. So I used with very fine fingering yarn that Frédéric from Atelier Pure Laine gave me to try out, because this yarn had a problem with the spin and when it was plied, and when you knit it with plain stockinette, it goes sideways. So she can't sell it for people who want to knit. She can sell it for people who want to be weaving and things like that, or crochet with that type of use. It's okay, but for normal stockinette knitting, she can't sell it. So she gave one 25 or 50 grams, 25 grams, I think I recall. But anyway, she gave me a little bit of this yarn for me to try, and I made a little bandana from a free pattern from Lamb & Kid, and you can find free patterns for this type of little bandanas and little scarves about everywhere. So it's a simple triangular shape. You start on one end, you increase, I guess, up to the moment you are happy with, and then you decrease on the other side. And it's extremely warm. I wear it almost every day under my shirts, under my sweaters, under my coats, my jackets and stuff. It's when I don't wear it, it's in my handbag. So I wear it all the time, and I guess I should make more, because this is some little piece that is of much use for me. Okay, first, my finished object. I showed it to you last time I filmed a video about my knitting adventures as being a work in progress. Turned out I only had maybe 4 or 6 rows to knit and it was finished. It's my Soft and Cushy Hat by Pearl Soho. So let me see the details here. Yeah, so it's a free pattern on Ravelry. I knit it for a colleague of mine, and because he's the one who brought the yarn from Bergen, and it is the yarn I knit my Missoni accomplished with, the yarn from Bergen, the let me see if I recall, Roma Finul. Yes, Roma Finul yarn. Anyway, so the Soft and Cushy Hat I knit for him. I have with acrylic yarn that has a bit of yarn of wool in it because they are fluffy, but I washed it, I blocked it just by letting it dry flat, and it was perfect. So that's one piece he can put in the washing machine if he doesn't want to wash by hand. I have a doubt because I love big brims. I thought it was going to be a good idea for him, but I'm not sure he would like that because 2 weekends ago my son Paulin was here and he tried the hat on as I asked him to do, and he said he did not like big brims, and if I double here to make it really flat on the head, it looks, he said, like a chapka, and he doesn't like the look of it. So I'll show it to my colleague. If he likes it, perfect, and if he doesn't like it, I will either keep it for myself or giving to someone who likes big brims like that, and I will knit it again. I have enough yarn for that. So this yarn is from my mother's stash she gave to me, and it's a dark black yarn and the white yarn I've made many things with in the past couple years for gifts. And I can't knit with I can knit with black yarn, so I decided to mold both of them together. And the final, I like the final effect. One of you told me also that you liked the final effect of the yarn here, and the marling point. You have the decreases here that go a bit sideways. I like that. I like that type of top of hat. And it's quite soft as there is a lot of acrylic into it, and it's I think it's a perfect gift, a very quick knit, and I think I'm on a hat roll or speed track because I've casted on another one. Okay, next is my Barbara sweater. I'm on the last little bits for the end. I'm almost finished. I'm not finished, but I'm almost finished. So I finished the front. I'm not sure which one is front or which one is the back. I think this one is the front. So you're seeing the front. I finished the front. I joined, so I sewn the front sides and the sleeves. Where is it? Where are you? It's here, where I joined both. I haven't blocked it yet, so I guess you will see the joint a little bit less once it's blocked. So here is the underarm. Knitters like to show underarms, and the beginning of the sleeve here. So you have it twice. So this is the front. So I tried it on. Two things. One thing is my sleeve length is almost at the beginning of my hand. It covers my wrist. So I think I'm gonna make quite a short border because I don't want to have the sleeves go too long. So you see I haven't finished sewing the sleeve so that I can either cast on and knit flat or in the round. I will be able to choose, and I have enough yarn to finish joining the sleeve. So that's the same on both sides. I did the same for both sleeves. So either I make a very short border, but I'm not sure it's gonna go well with the rest of the sweater. So this is what I haven't finished both number I will also have to see how many stitches I cast on, because maybe if I cast on quite the normal number of stitches and I decrease quite a bit with a rather tight border, maybe it's going to be able to sit on my wrist. The rest of the fabric is going to rearrange itself on the sleeve and it's going to be okay. So I need to see how this is going to be fitting my arms and my wrists. So this is why I started with the color, and with the color I started twice. So I did not say Barbara is by Marianne Isayer and from a book one of you gave me. The color I've knit once and I ripped out and I'm knitting again, because the final color was very wide on my shoulders and on my neck. Probably a combination of two factors. One of the factors being that I'm knitting off gauge with a bigger yarn, and I'm knitting the smallest size, but even though I'm knitting the smallest size, there were still too many stitches for my taste around the collar. So I ripped it out once again. I casted on and retrieved the stitches for the normal number of stitches around the neck. And I knit together most probably to decrease almost a third of the total number of stitches, so that the collar is much tighter on my neck. And I will see what I am going to be doing, because my idea for now is to see how I'm using smaller needles. I think I need the sweater with 3.5 millimeter needles, and these are 3.25. So I will see how the color looks with the number of centimeters that the sample has, the pattern has, and I will see what I'm going to be doing. My idea is that it's not going to be enough to hold the whole sweater, and I will double that and fold it and tightly bind it off with the cast on stitches. That's my idea. I'll see how it goes and how it fits me. For now I can stick my head through the hole, so that's fine. But if I cast on quite tightly, I need to be still able to be wearing the sweater. So I'll see what I decide. And so here is the other sleeve, and I think I was almost certain the sleeve was going to be too long, because I should have stopped increasing before what the pattern called for, but I said okay, it's going to be okay, let's go for it. And now this is where I am. So my beautiful Barbara, I love it. I think it's going to be very impressive looking. And a bit more work to be doing on it, but I've been traveling and my son was at home, so I haven't been able to really work on it. But I guess a couple evenings, maybe 3 evenings, and I hope next time I'm talking about my knitting adventures that this one is going to be a finished object. And of course, as I finished, I said, okay, I did not say. I'm using, but if you've been around, you know already, I'm using Lenal West natural sports weight. And this grayish brown is Fleur de Sel, and the natural one is just natural. So I still have a lot, and I have knit already one sweater out of this 1 kilogram cone, and I still have enough to be knitting a lot of other things. So next is my Dusking sweater by Kiyomi Bergin from the Dharma collection. I'm not sure I remember which year. Yes, it's from 2022, last year, the Cosmology Dharma collection by Amirisu. So Kiyomi Bergin, she designed dusking that immediately caught my attention once I saw the book, and I pre-ordered the book and I received it. And several of you have said that you could not find it again. I can buy it from the international Amirisu shop, and they have an international and they have a US shop. So I guess it's still available on their website. So I guess you can still order it. And I'm using this extremely beautiful mohair from Amandine, from La Ferme de la Croche-Cœur in Poitou, silk mohair, and it's the lace weight silk mohair in this blush pink. It's not much of my color range, but this was the only color she had the sweater quantity. She had enough for this sweater. As first you start with 4 strands of the mohair, then you go down to 3 and then to 2 and then to 1. So this is the back. There is a small eyelet in the back, so you need flat. Then you need short rows, and as you can see, I have separated for the sleeves, and I'm knitting on the body with 3 strands. Here is the final effect. It's extremely beautiful. It's extremely soft. I'm not sure you can see. Yes, I guess you can see. Here when I'm pointing is 4 strands, and just below are 3 strands of mohair. I haven't been working on lately because I've been traveling. My son has been here with his my youngest son with his girlfriend. So this is where I am. It's an easy knit now that I finished the short rows and separated for the sleeves. And I started to knit again on the sweater after I finished the first part. I was almost at the part where you go from 4 strands to 3. And I was thinking, I'm not going to have enough yarn. I'm not going to have enough yarn for 2 reasons. I was a little tight on the my original purchase. And I had looked for, I'm not sure I recall, L or M size. And I decided to cast 1 size bigger. So I was missing some yarn, and Amandine says she has 3 balls left, so that's 600 meters. I hope I have enough to finish the sweater. If not, I'll have to decide what to do. But anyway, it's very soft. It's a luxury feeling, a luxury sweater. The mohair is really nice, and I do hope I know one of you were going to the southeast of France, and I had a look for maybe places. You were asking if I did know of places you could go. I did not, but I had a look and found a couple places. At the end of your trip, you did not go to the places I recommended, but you went to another mohair farm that was close to where you were at, and with Mohair de France, and this is what Amandine is doing too. And this mohair is exceptional, and I hope you will enjoy whichever project you decide to cast on with what you have. So I have separated for the sleeves. I need now to be knitting down to the 3 strands and then see with the 2 strands if I increase my needles, if the gauge is okay. For now I haven't, so we'll see what I'm going to be doing after I go from 3 strands to 2 strands. But anyway, I'm very happy with this knitting so far. I think it's going to be a very dressy and elegant sweater that's maybe not much into my own more sporty vibes, but you always need one dressy sweater in your wardrobe, I think. Okay, next is a new cast on, and a new cast on with history, as I like. If you recall, some of you may recall, last year for my birthday, my youngest son, Paulin, and his girlfriend, they were in Paris. They went to L'Île Vessel, and they got me 2 bowls of each of the sunflower color and this little lavender lilac color from DMC Woolly. I think it's their DK weight or worsted superwash yarn. Okay, so I decided I wanted to knit both colors together, and I had never knit a double knitting project, so I said, okay, let's go for it. And as just a new technique is not complicated enough, I decided to go for a gingham pattern. So as you can see, the little square with the sunflower color on one side is the lavender color on the other side, and the other way around. And you have the gingham part where one stitch of each color alternates. And of course, for this part on the other side, the alternate stitches are complementary. It's not the same. Okay, it was a bit complicated at first, but I got the hang of it, and I need this little cowl. I was very happy. I wore it quite a bit, but then I used almost 1 bowl of each. So here is the sunflower one, and I have 1 bowl and a few meters left, maybe, or a few centimeters left of each color. And I was thinking, what I want a complementary accessory to go with it. And at first I thought about mittens, and maybe if I did not have enough yarn for 2 colorwork mittens with the same pattern, I would make sisters, and I change the colorwork so that I can make two mittens with the 2 balls that are left. And I finally decided on a hat, and I will tell you why. Because as I've already said, it's my birthday month, and in Tom Stein sent me an email, as I guess everyone who's on her mailing list, with a coupon code. The code covers the smallest of her accessories for 100%, or it's 3 or 4 euros, so you have a reduction on the price of a sweater or bigger accessory for that amount of money. So I looked at her hats, and she has quite a bit, and decided on the No Pompom Nb2 Art Deco hat. I guess I will place a picture here because it's going to be easier for you to see. And cast it on right away. I was at my in-laws, so I cast it on when I was with them, and I knit a little bit on that hat when I was with them, and I knit last night after I went back home. So this is what it's looking so far. I have 1 repeat made after the brim, 1 repeat, and now I'm on the 2nd repeat. And as you can see, she has a slouchy version. I'm gonna make just the regular non-slouchy version because I think there is too much fabric in the back with the pom-pom. So I'm gonna knit with the lilac part as much as I can, because I don't think I will have enough. Here is what's left of the lilac ball. I won't have enough to knit the whole beanie, I guess. Maybe we'll see. And if I don't have enough, I'll fade the lilac towards the yellow, and I will finish with the yellow. I like it a lot. It's a really nice pattern. I'm knitting the medium size, and you can see these needles. You've never seen them. And I will talk about the needles in my No Buy Here episode that I will film at the end of November, because when I went down to see my in-laws this weekend, I stopped by Atelier Paulin. I guess you can guess what I bought, and this was what I had told myself I would reward me with, even though the reward is not really what it is about. If my No Buy Year was going the way I want it to be, So these are Chiagu needles. I bought a whole set. Okay, and when I was there, I bought yarn too. Don't judge me. It was my birthday month, and I chose to treat myself because I had not decided on I was going to buy any present for myself. So yes, this beanie, the Art Deco one, No Pompom Art Deco, it looks really nice and the way I imagined it was going to be looking, and I think I'm going to like it very much. And I think it's going to go very well with the little collar. So a cast on with a lot of meaning. First, a present from my sons, one of my sons from last year that I wanted to be finishing. So this was my birthday cast on. Second, the needles that I bought for my No Buy Year project that I've already decided it was a success for this year. And third, a pattern that Interm-Style offered me, but anyone who's on her mailing list, I guess, offered me for my birthday. So you see, I like when my knitting have meaning, and I'm very happy that this knit, as the other ones, in particular the Barbara one. The dusking is a little different because it was all my decisions and things like that. Of course, everything is all my decision, but Barbara, the pattern was, the book was a gift from one of you. And here is a project that from the needles to the yarn to the pattern are gifts that either I've made to myself or others have made to me. So yeah, a very pleasant project that I'm sure I will enjoy. Okay, so that's it for my knitting. I won't talk about what I bought at Atelier Pure Laine at Frédéric. She went to Feltin for the Journée Nationale de la Laine in Feltin, and she brought back yarn that I was waiting for. So I treated myself for my birthday with yarn from hers. So I will talk about it at the end of November for my No Buy project check-in for November. And for general life updates, my mother's, it's on the status quo, not better, not worse. I'm going to have my knee injection 2 days from now, and hopefully I won't forget the product this time around. I'm a bit nervous about that. And you may have noticed my last video was pre-filmed because not this weekend but the weekend before that one. My son Paulin and his girlfriend were there for 4 days, 5 days, and then I was a day or two at home, and I went last weekend to see my brother and beloved brother and sister-in-law, and it was my birthday weekend. So I went there, and in between there were only 2 days, and I thought it was not going to be enough for me to do my work, to film and edit the video. So I pre-filmed last video that I edited, and I scheduled it to be live as the usual Friday, my afternoon time in Europe. Anyway, when my son left, we had a perfect 5 days. We played lots of boards game, the way we used to play when they were younger and at home, and we are playing a lot of board games. And funny thing is, maybe 2 or 3 days after they were back into Rennes, where he's a student and his girlfriend studies in Paris, they sent me a picture. They were playing the same game. It was a new game I had just bought. The same game we had played with when they were at home. They were in a coffee shop where you can play games. They have lots of board games, and they spent 5 hours in that coffee shop playing games. that one in particular and other ones, and with their friends, and they were so very happy that I had the game at home. They could play with it and enjoy it, and then they played with their friends. It was a very enjoyable weekend. We went to a restaurant. We went to eat with my eldest son because he wasn't available at the time. He was at a wedding for the weekend, so we arranged to have one meal with him, and we brought food from the open market at his apartment, and he was supposed to do something else afterwards, and they stayed to be talking together for 5 hours. I was so very pleased also to see them interact that way. And so it was a very pleasant weekend, but I did not have, I anticipated I would not have enough time to film, and I did not want to have that in the back of my mind. So I freed myself from that, pre-filmed the video, and it was up at the usual time. When they left, it was one day before Ciarán storm hit the west part of France. And they were supposed to go, the day of the storm, to go to Paulin's girlfriend's family for a few days. Because it's a break in November. We have several religious holidays, and usually at that time of year, students have a break. Okay, so I called them and I said, please go to her place, her parents' place, right now, because tomorrow the storm will be here. Most probably the train and the roads will be out of order, and you won't be able to drive, you won't be able to take the train, and it will be difficult for you to go to her family, so please go today. It was on the Wednesday. And so that's what they did. They called her mom and they said, can we come today because of the storm? And her mom said, of course, yes, I was going to call you and ask you to come today. So they went to her mother's and father's house in Brittany during the whole storm, and so they were safe. They are in a farm, so they helped secure everything, and then the storm hit. It hit here too, and it was heavy winds. Wind records were broken during that storm in Normandy and in Brittany. As we speak, we are 6 days after the storm. Some people still are out of electricity because the storm destroyed the whole grid in some places. I was out of electricity for a bit less than a day, so it was okay for me. But some people are still without electricity 5 or 6 days after the storm itself. And the problem is, after that storm, there was one relapse day in between the next day storm that was Domingo. So I was supposed to go to see my brother and sister-in-law. We had a family dinner for other reasons, not my birthday. And I said, okay, I'm going. Is it possible for me to come on Friday? Because Saturday, the second storm, Domingo, is going to hit, and I won't be able to drive that day because the roads were shut down during Ciarán in some parts of Normandy, and so most part of Brittany, and some of them were still not open yet. So they said, okay, but come at night Friday, because they both had other things. So I decided on my way down to stop by Atelier Pure Laine, Frédéric's farm. So it was almost 2.5 hour detour. Okay. So I left at the beginning of the afternoon, and I arrived at my in-laws. It was dark already. It was 7 or 7:30, something like that at night. So I stopped by Atelier Pure Laine because, as I said, she had things that I had pre-ordered ordered from her. So needles and a book. And as she was coming back from Feltin, she had yarn that she brought back from there. And okay, I could live with a 1 kilogram cone of yarn, and I'll show it to you at the end of the month. So I spent maybe 2 hours there, and then I went to the Poitou to see my in-laws. That night, the second storm hit, and it was another big storm. And as it was more in the south from the first storm, so I was right in the middle for Ciaran, and I was right in the middle for Domingo. Anyway, it was a big storm, and the next day we went for the family reunion, and so we left them to be home by 8 o'clock because at night, because the winds were on Saturday night, the winds were increasing again. So there was the last part of the storm with heavy rain. When we drove to the spot where we were having the family reunion, it was maybe 45 minutes from the house. Some roads, smaller roads, were underwater. The fields were underwater. It had rained so much. So we arrived there. We had a nice day with the rest of this side of the family. And then we left a bit earlier so that we can all be back home by 8 o'clock when the tail of the second storm was coming again. And so that night was also quite heavy in terms of stormy weather. And the next morning was Sunday morning. I had decided we would have breakfast and I would leave to be driving during the day and not be home or arrive at home during the night. So we had a 1 hour and something walk in the morning before I leave. And this is where I took a lot of pictures of the city they are living in, and the Vienne river was extremely high and still rising. So I will insert, I haven't watched any of my footage and any of my pictures, so I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. So we walked for about an hour on the side of the Vienne river. And so there is a factory. So they used to make weapons, but sabers in the 1800s. Sabers and knives. They were extremely famous at the time. But whenever the pistols and guns took over, so the firm went a bit down on the weapon side. So they survived up to the 70s for the knife making, and they were extremely famous for the quality of their knives. Now the smallest one is over 1,000 euros because they are not made any longer, unfortunately. And now the site, the firm site, is the company site, has turned into on one part there is an ice skating facility, on the other part there is a museum, and another part the hydroelectric factory is still going on, and they still make electricity from the river. But anyway, that was a very pleasant walk again, and by the time we were walking, we could not go there. There is a whole set of little paths by the river that have been taken care of, and there are benches and stuff like that. On one way we could go, on the way back it was all flooded. So quite an impressive view, and the sound of the river was on certain parts very loud. And we were thinking at the time that the rising of the river and maybe the flooding of the area was not at its peak. And this river, the Vienne River, goes into the Loire that goes through Tours and goes into the ocean. And this river, La Loire, is very well known for huge floodings. So they have been making dams and stuff like that to contain the flooding, but there were concerns about the Loire level rising up too, because of all the other rivers that come to itself. Anyway, when I went back home, I was under another part of the storm, or second or third tail of the storm, with lots of winds, and I was so concerned about other drivers on the highway, because we have a regulation where the weather is bad, the speed limit is lowered, and there were lots of winds, on some parts lots of rain, and some people were still driving at the same speed limit, and I had lowered mine, of course. So I was more concerned about other drivers than the weather itself. Anyway, it took me a long time to go back home. It's usually a three and a half hours drive, and it took me over 4 hours to go back home, because I decided I was not going to be risking my life. I'm safer, I think, on the highway rather than on the small roads where maybe there would be flood. But anyway, I was very, very concerned about other people not respecting the decrease of the speed limit. Anyway, that's France. That's France. That's the bad side of France. But I made it safely at home. I ate, I had a shower, and I went to bed. This is all I did. And when I woke up, I knit a bit on the beanie, and then I went back to bed again. The cats were very happy. My first son went to take care of them the one day in the middle, because I was gone 2.5 days. So he went to take care of them and play with them and check on them on the Saturday. And they were all very happy to see me coming back home. They went out this morning, and even though there is a bit of sun today, the wind is still high, so they are all at home, and I'm leaving to be working just after I finished filming the videos. So they are all at home, and I will keep them at home because we still are in a stormy situation. We still have rain and winds forecasted, even though not on the stormy side, but we still have a lot of rain that is on the forecast, and the earth, the grounds are already saturated with water from the 2 previous storms where we had loads and loads and loads of rain. So we have to be careful with that. And I'm not complaining, because all of the water reservoirs, the natural water sites, are still in need of water for next summer. So it's good. It's filling up all the natural sites and the underground water retention, natural water retention spots, but they are not filled yet, and we still need more. But too much in a too short time period is a bit of a concern. Anyway, so that's it for my little life updates and news. My mind is on 2 days from now, where I'm going to be having the knee injection. So now I'm a bit nervous about that. So we'll see how it goes. I'm sure it's going to be okay, but we'll see how it goes. And I do hope that this video finds you well. And I know some of you have lots of health or other life problems and difficult times. And I hope your knitting is bringing you comfort, because I'm working on finding joy and happiness and placing joy and happiness into my knitting. Because it's not going to be coming all by itself, and we need to be working on that. And if you can't do it for yourself, do it for other people. Think of other people. Place joy and happiness into your little stitches for other people, and you will see that it will build up some positive things for yourself too. And yes, I thank you very much for being here with me. I thank you very much for spending that time with me. I thank you very much for subscribing, for commenting, because I always love when I hear of you in the comment section. And I will see you next time.